Hello Tarot Rebels and welcome to today's video. My name is Michaela from Tarot Rebel and I'm super happy to see you joining us today. Today I'm going to do the dating the tarot tag, which originated on Candy's channel. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box down below. Basically, this is a revisit done by Candy at Candy Soul and Soil for the dating the tarot tag, which she did again at the end of 2021 to add some old and new prompts to the original tag, basically describing your tarot journey as if it was a dating game. So I just used Candy's prompts to make sure that I cover all the information, and here are the tarot decks that I will be included but not exclusively. I have one more that doesn't fit in the frame. So let's start with that. The Cheapskate Date. Who did you date because they were cheap as chips, and what was the outcome? For me, that has to be the Psychic Tarot. So I wasn't necessarily a fan of the Psychic Tarot, but I was drawn to it at some point. And for those of you who don't know, this is a reinterpreted 65 card deck with a guidebook. The majors are renamed. So for example, this is the Triumph card, which traditionally would be the Chariot card. This is Transformation, which sometimes is known as Death. This is the Rest and Rejuvenate card, which is basically the Four of Swords. And you also have some chakra cards added to the mix. There's some overlap between the suits, but you also have an extra suit. Let me get the guidebook out because it's easier to understand. So we have the major arcanas, 22. As usual, we have the physical with the red border, and we have 9 cards for the physical world. We have the green border with emotions, again 9 cards. The mental with indigo border, spirit with violet border, and the chakra cards. This was a second-hand deck because I wasn't necessarily in love with the idea, but now I use this deck all the time. I find it very easy to read with. The keywords make sense in the context, and I quite like using this deck. I find it very introspective, but also very easy to read for others. So yeah, this was my Cheapskate Date. I think I paid £6. Again, this was a second-hand deck that I got off of eBay. I do tend to purchase my mass market decks via eBay. So yeah, that was the first prompt. Next one is the slow burner date, the one you weren't sure about on first meeting, but over time you suspect it's turning into love. This has got to be the new Immortals tarot deck. So I got this on a whim. I think I mentioned this multiple times. I got it off Kickstarter. It's a linen cardstock. There are some mistakes in the leaflet that's included here, and there are some mistakes with the deck, but overall I'm super happy with the outcome. I use this deck a lot, especially because it's travel friendly. I like the art. I wasn't sure if I would like it. I remember backing the campaign and then forgetting all about it until I received the deck. So it was such a stunner from the very first day I got it, and I think I got it, I don't know, January, February 2021, something like that. And I've been using it ever since. I've been using it on myself, on my friends, on my clients, on people I read for randomly, on on my tarot readings that I post on my channel. So yeah, this has been a stunner overall, and I'm not sure what the plans are with this deck, if outside the Kickstarter campaign, if there are any plans to like redo it, but I would definitely recommend it to anyone who has an interest in this. Next prompt is the blind date, because we are all impulsive humans and sometimes we just rush in. Who did you date without looking or thinking? This is my Mariel Tarot. So this came very early on in my tarot journey, which is just a few years now. I saw the deck online and I didn't look at the images. I didn't know what this was about. I've only had contact with the Radiant Rider-Waite Smith, and I think I had the Deviant Moon at that point. But when I saw the Mariel, I only saw the box. This is all I saw. And I was like, yeah, have to have it. So just ordered it. And funny enough, I think I mentioned this in one of my previous videos. Before receiving it, all my dreams were, funny enough, I also again got stuck on the Four of Swords, so there's something there. Before receiving the deck, I dreamt in purple the whole night, and when I received the deck, the first card that jumped out was the Devil. And I don't know if you know it, but the Devil card in this deck is a purple card. And I'm also a Capricorn, and the Devil card sits under the Capricorn sign. So why can't I find it now? Anyway, that was, yeah, it's here. So it was such an unexpected confirmation that this deck was meant to be mine. And I don't know, it's such a stunning deck for mass market produced. As you can see, there's almost no chipping to the gilding that I have. I still want the first edition of this deck. I like the paper, I don't know, the cardstock that they used for this deck, and I don't know what else to say. I think everyone loves this deck in a way that's very personal. I use it for myself. I would want to have the first edition as a collector, not necessarily as a tarot reader. But I don't use this deck to read for someone else but myself. So there's that. The Rebound Date, the one you dated because something else didn't work out. And that's funny because this is the Jonasa Jaws 4th edition, which came into my life to replace the 5th edition. Overall, the 5th edition isn't bad. I always struggled with opening the deck. It's a very stunning deck. There are some minor perforations that you can see on some of the cards, but not all of them here. I can't see them now. It's a very thick cardstock that doesn't work well if you want to shuffle it. It's kind of difficult, and although I appreciated the opportunity to support the artist, because I purchased the deck straight from the artist's website, I still wanted the slim cards. This is what I call them. I still wanted the slim cards because although I like the greens, I feel like the purple and yellow color scheme works better for my own personal taste. What can I say? And I find it I don't know, it's they're, I don't know, it's such a different vibe because everything is so much more zoomed in than this deck. Like, for example, if I go to the Emperor card, there's a lot going on in this image versus the purple one. And I think that sometimes the green overpowers the message. The color scheme is kind of difficult to understand. So I think for me, for what I want to use this deck for, which is reading for myself, the 4th edition makes more sense. It's not necessarily a rebound, it's basically the same deck but in a different format. There's nothing outrageous that happened there to make this need come true. But it's just my personal preference. I'm gonna keep the 5th edition just because I like the diversity, and sometimes I use it for someone else, but for myself I'm just gonna keep the other one. Okay. Next prompt is the surprise love affair, the one you thought would be just okay but from first meeting it was love at first sight that took you by surprise. And I think I've mentioned it before. This is the Muse Tarot. I've resisted buying this deck for the longest of time. I don't think I was very much on board with collage art, which this deck has plenty of. However, sometime a couple of months ago, woke up and I was like, I need to have the Muse Tarot, and I ordered it, and it was instant chemistry with me in this deck. I can read for myself, I can read for others. I honestly prefer reading for others with it rather than reading for myself. But it's such a stunner, it's such a good deck. It has such a unique voice that's very soothing and calming at the same time. So it's even like, look at the 5 of Pentacles, right? Even in this card you can feel the depth, the kindness, the compassion that was put into this deck. So I was surprised to like it this much, but I now use it constantly. And from a I don't know, utilization point of view, this deck, for how cheap it is, because this is the mass market version, it withstands the test of time, the test of shuffling, the test of everything. Is like so resilient, so resistant. Like I love this for this deck. Next prompt is, I may have to block your number, date, the one that really didn't work out. And I have 2 decks in this for this prompt. First of all, I'm gonna touch on the modern tarot reader, because, oops, sorry for that. This is such a well-loved deck by everyone, and I honestly really wanted it, but the card stock is horrible. I think I bent a couple of my cards because of it. And then I find the artwork, the majors are nice, the cup suit is amazing. Like, I like that it's renamed Suit of Elixirs, and you have, for the 9 of Cups, you have number 5, number 6, number 7, but you have Wish Tonic, Love Potion, number 8, I can't see what it says right there, but Bliss Brew, Joy Elixir, and number 9. So everything like drives the point home with the elixirs, right? But then you have the Hierophant, yes, very reminiscent of the symbol on the card. And then you have the Suit of Blades, which is very pippish, and the Suit of Rods, which is the Wands, again very pippish. Pip. And then you have the Lovers, which is a heart, not massively offended by that. But then everything else but the Suit of Cups and the majors is very lazy. The Suit of Coins, it's a bit lazy in my opinion. This is the Ten of Cups, so you have wisdom, you have bliss, harmony, dream, love, happiness, passion, calming, and something else. Anyway, that's my biggest complaint about this deck. Again, I think it was designed a bit lazy. Either make everything a pip or make everything reinterpreted in a way that makes sense. That's my personal opinion. I do like the style. I do like the Victorian vintage style. I think it would have been better if there was if the artist decided to go either in the direction of having everything pip or everything very descriptive and creative. But that's just my personal opinion. Second deck in this category, which is the I May Have to Block Your Number, is the Naked Heart. I wanted this deck. It's one of the first lusty decks I've longed for, and the artwork is amazing. The problem is with the cardstock. I cannot shuffle this deck. As you can see, it's kind of difficult to like take one card out. They kind of stick together and it's so annoying, and it's making it makes me very annoyed at using it. So if the modern tarot reader has a problem with this cardstock being too flimsy, this is a bit too thick for its own good, and it's difficult to shuffle. I hate shuffling it in any kind of way. I tried it. I can do the corner shuffle, but then nothing happens because the cardstock is too thick and the cards don't glide into each other, if that makes sense. Yes, when you touch the cardstock, it's very lush, very buttery, but I think this is a collector's cardstock rather than... See, I can't remove the cards. I can only remove them two by two or something like that, so it's kind of annoying. So I don't think this worked out for me the way I wanted to. I still like the cards. I think the design, the art is great. It's just not working for me because of the reasons I mentioned. Next one we have the Stormy On-Off Date, the one you can't stay away from, equal parts passion, lust, and fighting. It has to be the Tarot of the Divine. This is one of the rare instances when I gave in and decided to buy something because of the hype. Again, for a mass market deck, I think the Lin cardstock is really nice and I'm happy with it. The artwork is amazing. However, it just feels like pretty art and not tarot. And I'm not sure if it's because I'm missing the big book or if it's because it's very cartoon style. I know loads of people love it and I do appreciate the art. I think it's amazing. However, there's something missing there. But then if I try to read for someone else, then the artwork does make sense and it's very easy to interpret if I let it take over. I'm not sure if I make any sense right now because I'm fighting a slight cold and I'm not feeling that great. However, this is the deck I decided should go in the Stormy On-Off Date because I don't particularly like it. I appreciate the art, however I don't find it tarot related. but it works well for others. But I also don't use it that very often, so there's that. That's my Stormy On-Off date. Okay, moving on to the double date, a pairing that was magical. And I think because it's the season, I paired my Sasuraibito Tarot with my Seasons of the Witch Yule Oracle, and I think they work amazing together. I know the artwork doesn't seem to be similar in a way, but I just enjoy working with these two side by side. Again, with the Four of Swords, this Four of Swords kind of, oops, sorry, that was me. This Four of Swords is following me everywhere. So you have the Four of Swords and the Dove Medicine. The wings are thick and strong, I see, for they have battled the most unforgiving winds. Be proud, be free, my child, go on, so like never be. And let me read you from the book. This is about forgiveness, freedom, and new beginnings. The doves are gentle creatures associated with purity, freedom, and peace. Forgiveness is the dove's greatest gift, and it's through forgiving that peace and freedom can be obtained. Holding on to the past is the type of prison keeping you trapped within things that no longer exist. Perhaps you've replayed your situation in your mind, or maybe past hurts have prevented you from welcoming new experiences into your life. So I like how this reinforces allowing yourself time to heal and opening up to new experiences. Then you have the Three of Swords and the Hearth. May your warmth take in the gazing flame. Upon the shivers they melt away. It's like they bounce off each other very, very nicely. The Four of Cups with telling stories. The Ten of Cups with offerings. I give to you my heart's intent, wrapped in gratitude and thankfulness, devotion in exchange for your presence. Here I am gifting my essence. And then you have the Empress and gratitude. I don't know, it's just something about this pairing that made sense to me while using it. Obviously this is not exactly how I used it. I usually do a 3-card reading, or I ask my questions and then I close it off with one oracle card. But yeah, I find it magical. I think they work well together, and I think I'm going to extend using the Yule Oracle into the spring, because I love my Sylvain Oracle, but this one I feel more connected to it, so it does make sense to me. Okay, next in line, what do we have? The Friends with Benefits date. Who can you run to whenever you just have a need for them? The one who always slots right back in like you've never been apart. The Ostara Tarot. This was such an incredible find. Why can't I open it? And as much as I dislike the box, because I do, I know some people have a problem with the fact that this deck was created by 4 different people in 4 different art styles, and you can see that in the artwork. So the artists are Molly Applejohn, Eden Cook, Krista Gibbard, and Julia Ardell. And in the book it tells you which suit is created by which artist, and there's a split for the majors as well, like not one person created the majors. But I just like the creativity of this deck, and I like the different tones it sets for your reading. And every time I go back to this deck, I'm like, yep, trusty old friend, the friend with benefits. Yeah, it's just magical. I find it very easy to read, I find it very easy to connect with, and I find it very gentle at the same time. It feels very compassionate, despite it being a deck with different voices. So yeah, this is my Friends with Benefits date. The next prompt is very fun because it's the threesome, a magical trio. And honestly, I debated what to add to this, but I realized that probably my best option would be Wisdom of the Oracle and the Psychic Tarot, coupled with any of the tarot decks. Both of them work so well together and with other decks. It's just, I think they're my main decks in terms of clarifying situations in readings. Like they just go so well together, especially if they're shuffled, not just now. The artwork doesn't match. I know. I'm very aware of that. But I'm just in awe every time I use them. The messages seem to be reinforced by one or the other. So it's just like between worlds and mental conflict, right? The imagery is very similar. Even the red is on the same side, right? It's like, I don't know, for me it does make sense to use them together with something else, and I think they pair well with any deck. And it doesn't really matter what kind of artwork you use, they just make sense, you know. Funny, higher power and spiritual strength. Yeah, a leg up and accelerated motion. It's just uncanny how well they go together. And I like the artwork in both of them, even though the Psychic Tarot sometimes reminds me of that cheesy 90s design that was everywhere. Sci-fi, fantasy related, but wanna be angel-y. I don't know, hope I'm making sense. Okay, next prompt is the best hugger date is who hugged you the longest and the warmest when you most needed it. And I was debating adding the Sasarai Bito Tarot, but you'll see next why I didn't add the Sasarai Bito in this section. I find the Dreaming Way Tarot, I think there's a review on my website, on my YouTube channel, sorry, for this deck. This is such a nice, kind voice. Very cute imagery, very cartoonish, but also very kind. Even this tower is not necessarily a very violent depiction of the tower, right? I love this high priestess. I don't know, it's just something. And the Queen of Pentacles, I think this is one of my favorite Queen of Pentacles. Probably my favorite Queen of Pentacles is the one in the Little Prince Tarot, but this one is a close second. And I just adore this artwork. Look at this Eight of Pentacles. I like the quirky fashion, and I like the colors. They're not necessarily pastel-y, but they're not necessarily super bold, and they just make sense in this universe. And I do like using this deck. It's so easy to use. This was such a cheap deck. It's a US Games, so the card stock, it's very standard US Games, and very easy to shuffle and handle. But the voice of this deck is very kind to me, so I like to use it. And obviously, because of its kindness, it can be easily used for others as well, because no one will get like scared of a bad card if they see this deck, because it's so sweet and innocent. Yeah, this is the best hugger date. the Forever Love, and this one is the real thing, is the Sassureibito Tarot. I debated if I should put this or the Mariel Tarot, but I think for personal reasons the Sassureibito is the one for me. I don't know what's about this deck. It's just probably my soul deck, one of them anyway, because there's Marielle, there's the Margaret Peterson, there's the Sassureibito. I have plenty of them. Fortunately, I'm lucky to be able to talk to multiple decks, multiple artists, to find out things about myself. But yes, this is one of the Forever Love. Last but not least, we have I Want to Get to Know You Better. Who are you excited about dating in the future? And I could say this about multiple decks I own, but I think one of the decks that gets me the most excited is the Stella Tarot. Now, I got this deck from Japan a couple of months ago, and I've been using it sporadically, I have to say. It's technically, I think it's an out-of-print deck. It was really hard to find it, but my copy was genuine and it was sealed, so it was there was nothing wrong with it. I keep using this deck for myself, obviously, because I don't think I'm at that point to use it with someone else, for someone else. As you can see, it has very quirky artwork. I love this Empress. The colors are so, it's like cotton candy in a deck for some reason, and it kind of reminds me of Dreaming Way. It has that same childish, innocent, loving spirit to it, but it's obviously it's different, and I would like to know it better, because so far I've only been like doing small readings for myself, not necessarily going in depth, and I think I would like to explore this deck more, because I think it has potential. And again, I find it a very easy to read, universal type of art because of its nature, and I like the way it's presented. I like the borders. I know some people don't like the borders, but I think in this context it does make sense to have them. So yeah, this is my I Want to Get to Know You Better date for the year to come. Now, these are my decks. I'm happy Candy reignited this VR, and I'm happy I could take part in it, because it's a fun activity to look at the videos and see what other people come up with, and see how I can connect to their experience when it comes to tarot. I would love to see if other people feel the same about the decks, or if they have different decks that they feel very strongly about. How would they envision this this dating the tarot game? I will leave in the description box down below links to videos I've seen and videos that have taught me something, and I think everyone should go take a look and appreciate them. I want to thank Candy for reinitiating this dating the tarot game, and I would love to hear your comments in the section down below, or if you can spare a like, a share, or subscribe, that would be greatly appreciated. Have a nice day and hope to see you soon. Bye!